Welcome to Creepytalks, where hidden fears come alive through chilling horror tales. Dare to listen as every story pulls you deeper into the darkness. Story 1. The friends who knew too much. They smiled like brothers, but they were waiting for the exact moment to ruin his life. Some friends don't betray you once, they slowly erase you. I never believed the phrase, fake friends are more dangerous than enemies. That belief almost killed me. My name is Ethan Miller, and this is not a story meant to scare you with monsters, ghosts, or demons. This is worse. This is about people you trust, people you laugh with, people who know your secrets, and how they can destroy you from the inside while calling themselves your friends. The perfect friend group. It all started in Chicago, winter of 2018. I was 22, fresh out of college, living in a shared apartment near downtown. Life wasn't perfect, but it was hopeful. I had a decent job at a digital marketing firm, dreams of starting my own business, and what I believed was a solid group of friends. There were 4 of us. Ryan, the leader type, charming, confident, always talking about success. Mark, quiet, sarcastic, good with tech, rarely spoke about his personal life. Jason, the joker, always laughing, always supportive, or so it seemed. And me, the listener, the planner, the guy who believed loyalty mattered. We met during our first year of college. Late-night study sessions turned into parties, parties turned into road trips, and before we knew it, we were inseparable. Or at least, that's what I thought. The first small red flag. Looking back, the signs were there. But fake friends don't attack you loudly. They whisper. Ryan used to make jokes about my failures. Relax, man, I'm just kidding. Jason would laugh a little too hard when I messed up. Mark always knew things he shouldn't have known. Still, I ignored it. Because when you're surrounded by people, loneliness feels impossible until it suddenly isn't. The secret I never should have shared. One night, after a few drinks, everything changed. We were sitting in our apartment living room. Snow tapped softly against the windows. The room smelled of cheap beer and pizza. Ryan leaned back and said, Ethan, you're the smartest one here. Why don't you start something of your own? I laughed. I've thought about it, but I don't trust people easily. Jason leaned forward. You trust us, right? That question should have scared me. Instead, it made me feel safe. So I told them. I told them about the investment money my uncle had secretly given me. I told them about my startup idea, an online platform I'd been planning for over a year. I told them things I hadn't even told my parents. The room went quiet. Ryan smiled slowly. That's huge, man. I didn't notice how Mark avoided eye contact. I didn't notice how Jason stopped joking. That night, I handed them the blueprint of my future. When friends start watching you. From that moment, things shifted. Ryan started asking questions. Too many. How much money exactly? Who else knows? When are you launching? Jason suddenly wanted to help with everything. Mark began working late on his laptop, always locking his screen when I walked by. I felt uncomfortable, but I told myself I was paranoid. That's how fake friends win. The night everything disappeared, 3 months later, my life collapsed in one night. I came home late from work. The apartment lights were off. Ryan's shoes were gone. Jason's jacket missing. Mark's room locked. That wasn't unusual. What was unusual was my laptop. It was open. Files were missing. My business plan, gone. My financial spreadsheets, gone. Emails deleted. Cloud access changed. My chest tightened. I checked my phone. No messages, no calls, just silence. Then my email notification appeared. Welcome to Nexacore Digital. Founder account activated. I stared at the screen. Nexacore Digital was the name of my idea, but I wasn't the founder. The betrayal reveals itself. The next morning, I found out the truth. Ryan had registered the company under his name. Mark had copied my entire system. Jason had contacted investors using my connections. They didn't just steal my idea, they erased me from it. When I confronted Ryan, he didn't deny it. He smiled. "You should have protected yourself better." Those words haunt me to this day. When fake friends turn into predators, I lost everything within weeks. My job, gone. My savings, drained fighting legal battles. My reputation, destroyed by lies they spread. They told people I was unstable, that I was greedy, that I tried to steal their idea. Friends stopped calling. Family started doubting. And that's when the nightmares began. Not dreams, nightmares. I'd wake up hearing footsteps in the hallway, whispers calling my name, my phone lighting up with messages that vanished when I opened them. Fake friends don't leave when they're done. They watch. The warning I ignored. One night, an unknown number texted me. "They're not finished with you." I laughed it off. I shouldn't have. The horror begins. 2 days later, I saw my own face on social media, tied to crimes I never committed. Fake screenshots, fake messages, fake evidence. But the damage was real. And that's when I realized something terrifying. They didn't just want success. They wanted to destroy me completely. Story 2. When betrayal starts watching you. They didn't just steal his future. They turned his own mind into a prison. When fake friends finish using you, they don't walk away. They hunt. The first time I realized something was seriously wrong, I was afraid of my own phone. Every vibration made my heart jump. Every notification felt like another nail in the coffin of my life. My name, Ethan Miller, had become poison. And the worst part? The people destroying me knew exactly how my mind worked, because once, they were my friends. A life that no longer felt real. I stopped going outside, not because I was lazy, not because I was depressed, because people were watching me. At least that's what it felt like. Neighbors I had greeted for years suddenly avoided eye contact. Uber drivers whispered on phone calls after dropping me off. Cashiers paused too long while scanning my card. Maybe it was paranoia, or maybe it wasn't. Everywhere I went, I could feel judgment crawling over my skin. The lies Ryan and the others had spread were working. The internet never forgets. I searched my name online. Worst mistake of my life. Articles, threads, videos. Former employee accused of fraud. Unstable man threatens startup founders. The dark side of Nexacore's former partner. Former partner. I was never listed as a partner. They had rewritten history. And the comments. God, the comments. Lock him up. He looks crazy. Another greedy loser pretending to be a victim. I slammed my laptop shut and vomited into the sink. That's when I realized something terrifying. They didn't just steal my idea. They stole my identity. The first direct message. It happened at 2:13 a.m. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Ryan, you should stop fighting. It's not good for your mental health." My blood went cold. I hadn't given him my new number. I typed back. "Me. How did you get this number?" 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then a new message. "Ryan, you always overthink, Ethan. That's your weakness." My hands shook. He knew. He knew I doubted myself. He knew anxiety followed me like a shadow, and he was using it. Gaslighting, the invisible weapon. Over the next week, messages came from different numbers, sometimes supportive, sometimes threatening, sometimes confusing. "We're worried about you. Why are you lying to people?" You need help. You did this to yourself. I couldn't prove it was them. That was the point. Fake friends don't attack directly. They make you question your own reality. I started recording calls, saving screenshots, documenting everything. But every time I showed someone, they looked at me with concern, not belief. When sleep becomes dangerous, the nightmares returned, but they were different now. I dreamed I was back in our old apartment. Ryan sat at the table, smiling. Mark typed silently on his laptop. Jason stood behind me. I tried to scream. No sound came out. Jason leaned close to my ear and whispered, "You told us everything." I woke up choking for air. My room was dark, too dark. I reached for the lamp. It didn't turn on. Then I heard it. Footsteps, slow, careful, inside my apartment. The break-in that left nothing behind. I didn't move. My heart pounded so loudly I was sure they could hear it. The footsteps stopped outside my bedroom door. Then silence. Minutes passed. Hours. Eventually, I fell asleep from exhaustion. In the morning, the door was locked. Windows untouched. Nothing stolen. Except one thing. My notebook. The one where I had written everything. Names, dates, evidence. Gone. That's when fear turned into certainty. They had been inside. The police didn't believe me. I reported it. The officer listened politely, then asked, "Do you have proof someone entered?" "No," I said. "Any signs of forced entry?" "No." "Any witnesses?" "No." He closed his notebook. "Sir, with your online history, maybe it's best you speak to a professional." A professional? That's how they win. Make you look unstable. Make authority doubt you. Make the truth sound insane. Jason breaks silence. 3 days later, Jason emailed me. Subject: "Let's end this." I hesitated, then opened it. "Ethan, you need to stop. Ryan is worried you'll hurt yourself. Mark thinks you've lost perspective. We didn't want things to go this far." "Didn't want?" I replied immediately. "You stole my life." His response came fast. "No, you handed it to us." That line broke something inside me, because part of me knew he was right. The file I wasn't supposed to see. That night I received an anonymous email. No subject, just an attachment. I almost deleted it. Almost. Inside was a video, recorded months ago. Our apartment living room. Ryan speaking. "Ethan trusts too easily. Once we launch, we cut him out. If he fights back, we make him look crazy." Mark nodded. Jason laughed. I dropped my phone. My hands were numb. They had planned everything. From day one. Realization. This was never about business. That's when the truth finally hit me. This wasn't just greed, it was control. Ryan hated that I was smarter. Mark envied my creativity. Jason feared being irrelevant. They didn't want success alone. They wanted to break me. But they made one mistake. They underestimated something. Me. They thought I'd disappear. They thought I'd collapse. But fear can turn into focus. And I decided, if fake friends wanted war, I would make sure the truth burned everything down. Story 3. The moment I stopped being a victim, they broke him until he stopped being afraid. And when fear dies, monsters are born. There is a moment in every horror story when the victim changes, not because they become stronger overnight, not because they suddenly turn fearless, but because they realize something far more dangerous. They have nothing left to lose. That moment came for me at 3:47 a.m., sitting alone on my apartment floor, staring at the video that proved my friends planned my destruction from the very beginning. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I smiled, and that scared me more than anything else. Fear evolves into something else. Fear keeps you alive. But too much fear rots you from the inside. For weeks I had been running, hiding from notifications, hiding from people, hiding from my own thoughts. That night I stopped running. I replayed the video again. Ryan's calm voice, Mark's silence, Jason's laughter. They weren't afraid in that video. They were confident, certain. They believed the future belonged to them. That confidence would be their weakness. I became my own ghost. The first rule of survival? Disappear. I deleted my social media accounts, changed my phone number, stopped using my real name online. To the world, Ethan Miller broke down and vanished. To Ryan and the others, I became quiet, and silence makes predators nervous. Studying the monsters. I didn't rush into revenge. That's what they expected. Instead, I studied them. Ryan posted motivational videos daily. Fake confidence hiding insecurity. Mark left digital trails everywhere. Arrogance disguised as intelligence. Jason drank too much and talked too freely. Always had. They thought they were untouchable. That was mistake number one. The first crack, I created a burner account. No name, no photo, no emotion. I sent one email to an investor Ryan trusted. Simple. You should ask Nexicor who really designed their system. No accusations, no threats, just curiosity. Within days, Ryan's online behavior changed. Fewer posts, late-night rants, deleted comments. Paranoia had entered the room. Jason started to slip. Jason was always the weakest link. He needed approval, so I gave him doubt instead. From another anonymous account, I sent him screenshots. Not the full video, just fragments. Enough to scare him. Enough to make him wonder, who else knows? 2 nights later, Jason drunk texted me from his real number. Is this you? I stared at the screen for a long time before replying. You should be more careful who you trust. That message destroyed him. The first confession. 3 days later, Jason called. I recorded everything. His voice shook. Ethan, man, things got out of hand. Out of hand, he cried. He blamed Ryan. He blamed pressure. He blamed fear. Not once did he blame himself. Fake friends never do. But he said one thing that mattered. Ryan has backups. He planned for everything. Everything except betrayal from inside. I used the truth like a weapon. I didn't expose them publicly. Not yet. I did something worse. I let them turn on each other. Anonymous emails began circulating. Different versions of the same truth sent to different people. Ryan believed Mark was leaking information. Mark believed Jason was sabotaging him. Jason believed Ryan would sacrifice him first. And they were all right. When the hunters became the hunted, Nexicor started bleeding. Investors pulled back. Internal arguments leaked. Deadlines were missed. Online rumors spread. The same way they once spread lies about me. Ryan posted a video denying accusations. His hands were shaking. I recognized that look. It was the same fear they gave me. They came looking for me. One night I heard knocking, hard, angry. I didn't answer. Ryan's voice came through the door. Ethan, I know you're in there. My blood froze. He sounded desperate, not powerful. Desperate people are dangerous. I stayed silent. After 10 minutes, he left, but he didn't come alone. Jason was with him. They were hunting the ghost they created, the final piece of evidence. The next day, Mark made his mistake. He accessed an old cloud folder using his personal IP. I had left it there on purpose. Inside was the full video. He downloaded it. That was all I needed. Proof, timeline, intent. The truth was finally complete. I had a choice. Expose everything publicly, destroy them instantly, or make them feel what I felt. Isolation, fear, helplessness. I chose justice over cruelty Because monsters are born when victims forget why they started fighting. The day the truth came out, I sent everything to journalists, to investors, to lawyers, raw, unedited, impossible to deny. Within hours, Nexicor's website went offline. Ryan disappeared from social media. Mark deleted all accounts. Jason was hospitalized for stress-related collapse. Funny word, collapse. But this is a horror story, so it doesn't end cleanly. A week later, I received one last message. Unknown number. You think you won? I stared at the screen. My reflection looked different now. Calmer, colder. I typed back, I survived. No reply came, but I know something you should understand. Fake friends don't always lose. Sometimes they just wait. Story 4. One of them never made it out. The truth came out, but the nightmare didn't end because one of my fake friends vanished and everyone blamed me. You think exposure brings peace. You think once the truth is public, the fear fades, the damage stops, and life slowly returns to normal. That's a lie. Sometimes revealing the truth is what unlocks the final horror. After the fall, Nexicor collapsed faster than anyone expected. News articles shifted tone overnight. The same platforms that once called me unstable now used words like whistleblower, wronged founder, victim of coordinated betrayal. Apologies came too late. Emails, messages, voicemails from people who had turned their backs on me. But something felt off. I wasn't relieved. I was uneasy because Ryan, Mark, and Jason weren't fighting anymore. They were silent. The silence that screamed. Ryan disappeared completely. No posts, no statements, no legal response. Mark's lawyer released one carefully written denial, and then nothing. Jason vanished. Not online, not socially, physically. The call from the police. It happened on a Tuesday morning. I was making coffee when my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Mr. Miller, this is Detective Harris. My stomach dropped. We have a few questions regarding Jason Keller. I didn't respond. We understand you and Mr. Keller had a complicated history. Complicated? That word again. I told them the truth, everything. The betrayal, the messages, the calls, the breakdown. The detective listened quietly, then asked the question that changed everything. When was the last time you saw him? I swallowed. Months ago. There was a pause. Because he hasn't been seen in 11 days. When the past becomes a weapon, rumors spread quickly, too quickly. Online forums started connecting dots that didn't exist. Ethan was threatening him. Jason sounded scared. Ethan disappeared first. They called it motive. They called it escalation. They didn't call it coincidence. And suddenly, I was no longer just a victim. I was a person of interest. The apartment visit. They came that evening. 2 detectives, polite, calm, dangerous. They looked around my apartment, checked my laptop, scrolled through my phone, asked about burner accounts. I told them everything. I had learned not to hide anymore. When they left, one of them stopped at the door and said, "Sometimes people push others too far without realizing it." That sentence followed me into my dreams. The message from Ryan. At 1:09 a.m., my phone lit up. Ryan, same number. "You ruined everything." I stared at the screen. Then another message. Jason couldn't handle it. My fingers went cold. I typed, "What did you do?" 3 dots appeared, then vanished. No reply. The video that wasn't meant for me. The next day an email arrived, encrypted, anonymous. Inside was a video clip. Grainy, shaky. Jason sat in a dark room, eyes red, voice trembling. I didn't mean for it to go this far, he said. I was scared. Ryan said it would be fine. Ryan, then the video cut. No timestamp, no location, just silence. Guilt is a different kind of horror. I hated Jason, but watching that video, I felt something worse than anger. Responsibility. If I hadn't pushed, if I hadn't exposed, if I had walked away, would he still be alive? That question eats you from the inside. The discovery. 3 days later, the news broke. Jason's car was found near an abandoned industrial area outside the city. No body, no blood, just his phone in the glove compartment, unlocked. The last message on the screen? A draft, unsent. I should have told Ethan the truth sooner. Ryan's final move. Ryan contacted me one last time, this time a call. I answered. You happy now? He asked. His voice sounded hollow. You turned us into monsters, I replied calmly. You were monsters long before me. He laughed, not amused, broken. You think this ends with exposure? With justice? He paused, then said, You'll always wonder what happened to him. The call ended. The thing nobody talks about. Here's the part no one tells you about revenge stories. Even when you win, you lose something. Sleep never came easily again. Every unknown number felt dangerous. Every shadow felt like someone watching. Fake friends don't just destroy your past. They poison your future. The final realization. Months later, the case went cold. No charges, no answers. Ryan was last seen leaving the country. Mark settled quietly and changed his name. Jason, still missing. And me? I learned a truth darker than any horror story. Sometimes, the scariest part isn't betrayal, it's surviving it. Story 5. The friend who never really left. Everyone wanted closure. What they got instead was the truth that never lets you sleep again. This is the part of the story people beg me not to tell, because once you hear it, you'll start looking at your own friends differently, and that's a door you can never close again. Life after a cold case. The investigation into Jason's disappearance officially went cold after 6 months. No body, no crime scene, no suspect, just a file filled with questions nobody wanted to answer. The media moved on. The internet found new villains. My name slowly stopped trending, but peace never came, because silence is loud when you're the only one listening. The letter that arrived too late. It came almost a year later. No return address, no stamp, just my name written in handwriting I recognized instantly. Jason's. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a single page. Ethan, if you're reading this, it means I finally did the one thing I was always too afraid to do. Tell the truth. My heart dropped. Jason's confession. The letter wasn't long, but every sentence felt heavy. Ryan didn't just plan the business betrayal. He planned everything that came after. The lies, the gaslighting, the breakdown. Even me. I sat down. Ryan said you were dangerous, that exposing the truth would ruin us all. He said if anything happened to me, the blame would fall on you. My stomach twisted. I didn't disappear because I was scared of you. I disappeared because I was scared of him. The night Jason ran, Jason explained what really happened that night. Ryan had called him after the exposure. Panicked, furious, desperate. He told Jason they needed a final move. Something dramatic, something permanent. Ryan wanted Jason to fake his death, to vanish, to become the final weapon against me. He said the world already thinks you're unstable. All we had to do was push it one step further. Jason wrote that he agreed at first, not because he wanted to hurt me, but because he had spent his entire life being afraid of disappointing people. The moment everything broke, according to the letter, the plan was simple. Jason would disappear for a few weeks. Let suspicion grow. Let the pressure crush me, then reappear quietly later. But something changed. That night, when I was alone in that warehouse, I realized something. Jason wrote, Ryan wasn't afraid of you. He was afraid of being exposed for who he really was. And that's when Jason made a different choice. Why Jason never came back? Jason didn't fake his death. He faked his existence. He destroyed his phone, dumped his car, withdrew cash slowly over months, and disappeared into a place where no one knew his name. If I came back, Ryan would control the story again, and you would never be free. So Jason vanished, not as revenge, but as confession. The line that still haunts me. Near the end of the letter, Jason wrote one sentence I still think about every night. Ryan was the monster, but monsters need witnesses who stay silent. I had been their silence once. So had Jason. The final warning, the last paragraph was short. I don't expect forgiveness. I just couldn't let you believe you destroyed me. You didn't. But be careful, Ethan. My breath caught. Ryan doesn't lose. He waits. What happened to Ryan? 2 months after the letter arrived, I saw his face again. A blurred security photo attached to a news article. A man detained overseas for fraud under a different name. Different beard, different passport, same eyes. Ryan had been running since the beginning. Jason wasn't the only one who disappeared. The difference? Jason disappeared to stop the nightmare. Ryan disappeared to survive it. The truth no one talks about. People love stories where justice feels clean. This wasn't one of them. Ryan was never convicted for what he did to me. Jason never officially came back from the dead. Mark vanished into corporate anonymity. And I was left with something far heavier than revenge. Understanding. What fake friends really do. Fake friends don't always scream or threaten. Sometimes they learn your weaknesses, borrow your dreams, wear your trust like a mask. And when they're done, they don't just walk away. They rewrite you. The last message. Last month I received one final email. No name, no subject, just one sentence. You were never crazy. I don't know if it was Jason. I don't know if it was guilt. But I do know this. Fake friends leave scars you can't see. And those scars change how you love, how you trust, how you survive. Final realization, ending line. Enemies show you who they are. Fake friends wait until you show them who you are. Then they use it against you.